What's going on, guys? It's your boy Abel, and we're back with another weekly outlook. And let's go ahead and get straight into this to see exactly what we have to be aware of, especially from a news standpoint, and also what we can do, guys, in terms of technicals to see if there's any opportunities that we're going to be able to take advantage of, right? So starting off the week, we do have retail sales that's getting released, guys, today for the Australian dollar. Right now, they're expecting retail sales to actually increase, which is actually very interesting. Because every central bank across the world right now is pretty much dealing with a very similar thing, right? Dealing with high inflation, and they're trying to combat high inflation through various different measures, right? The one being them obviously, raising interest rates. Now, the whole point of them raising interest rates is to try to slow down spending, right? Slow down consumer spending. So the fact that they have been raising interest rates, but yet retail sales over here, at least for the month perspective, month over month, is expected to actually jump up higher. That's very interesting, guys. Now, overall, very interesting data. We do have some more interesting data, guys, for the Australian dollar that we have to be aware of for this week. But that's definitely something that is going to happen today that can bring some volatility for the Australian dollar. Now, going into tomorrow, guys, we do have a major holiday over here in the U.S. and in Canada with Labor Day. Obviously, the biggest banks are closed because of this actual holiday. And since the banks are closed, guys, we have to be mindful that there's probably not going to be as much volume or volatility or liquidity in the markets because the banks are actually closed. So that's just something to be mindful, guys. I'm probably, since I trade majority of USD pairs, I'm probably not going to be trading too much tomorrow. If I do, it may be something like a GBP JPY or a Euro AUD, which are maybe the only two other pairs that I really trade besides all the USD pairs that I do trade, right? So for the most part, guys, I'm going to be on the sidelines for USD pairs tomorrow just because it is holidays and I just don't want to deal with it, right? But that's something interesting. Now, again, we do have GBP news that's also getting released, guys, and that it has to do with PMI data. Right now, PMI, guys, stands for Purchasing Managers Index, right? This is a way for us to see pretty much what, the managers, guys, of these big corporations that are doing the purchasing, right, to buy either, commodities or assets for the, whatever it is, right? We're able to see exactly what they think about these markets, right? And they're able to give us, guys, a direct insight onto what's actually happening because of their purchasing, right? They have to purchase, right, based on a lot of data. So if they're purchasing more, then the data is showing that it's time to go ahead and ramp up. If they're purchasing less, then that in itself is also telling us that possibly that inflation is too chaotic, that is causing people to actually spend less, right? So again, looking at the purchasing manager indexes definitely does give us some type of an insight, guys, as to confidence overall from these managers that are actually in this release itself. So very important release, very interesting what happens, but overall, we do have to be mindful of that, guys, on Monday. Now, on Tuesday, we do have the RBA, right? The Bank of Australian interest rate decision. They're expecting to raise rates, guys, around 0.50%, right? 0.5% or around 50 basis points. And I mean, it's pretty much what has been happening across the board, right? We've been seeing central banks, guys, across the board continue to raise rates. And it's because they're trying to slow down inflation, right? Now, what I want to do is I actually want to go scroll down and I actually want to take a quick look, guys, at what these central banks what they're actually doing in terms of interest rates. And if we look at this, there literally has only been one central bank, guys, at least from these major ones, that has not changed their rates yet, right? Everybody else is raising rates to try to combat inflation. Right now, the whole point of this being important, it just shows, guys, why I have been so bullish everything against the yen. Right? Because that bank, the Bank of Japan, guys, they're still very much easing. They're still very much printing. They're still very much doing the opposite of every other central bank, right? Again, let's talk the Federal Reserve, right? The Federal Reserve is tightening, right? The Federal Reserve is raising rates. Bank of Japan is doing the opposite. So if we actually look at, say, something like a USD JPY, we can see exactly how the market's been reacting to that. So, yeah, guys, we have to be aware of these central banks and their actual decisions because it's going to influence these markets as a whole, right? So, again, we do have the Bank of Australia, though. They're actually planning on raising rates 50 basis points from 1.85 to 2.35. Okay, now let's go take a look at the Aussie and see what we got here. All right. So for the Australian dollar, guys, this is definitely an opportunity I'm actually very, very interested in. And I'm going to be looking at the pairs, guys, and actual setups. And trying to correlate with the news so you guys can have an idea of how I'm going to be approaching this, right? So overall, we know that we do have interest rate decision coming up very, very soon. We know that as long as interest rates are going higher, right, the actual currency is also going to gain value as well, right? So if we do see an increase in interest rates for the Australian dollar, then yeah, we should see an increase in strength as well for the Aussie. But we also have to keep in mind the interest rate differential, right? So against everything else, against the US dollar, I still believe we're going to get short-term strength for long-term still continuations lower, right? The dollar is still the dollar, right? It's still daddy dollar, still the #1 reserve currency in the world, right? So that's still going to hold the most weight. But against other assets, right, I believe the Aussie is absolutely going to dominate, right? So if we're looking at Euro AUD, I'm expecting more downside off of this data, right? Off of these markets, okay? Because the Aussie is stronger compared to the Euro, which will cause price to drop, okay? Now, if we're looking at, say, something like GBP AUD, similar concept, okay? The Aussie, right, is probably going to gain strength. Now, what we can do is actually compare interest rates, guys, against central banks. So the Australia, again, by the end of this week, it's going to be at around 2.3%, 2.35. Bank of England, they're at 1.75 right now. I believe they are actually getting an interest rate as well, an interest rate decision to, it's for the Euro actually, right? But the Bank of England, guys, at 1.75, right? Even if we just look at it from what the Australia is right now, 1.85, they're giving 10%, 0.10% more, right? So it just looks a lot more attractive to invest into the Reserve Bank of Australia because they're giving you 1.85% on your money as opposed to 1.75% of your money, right? So even with that, I still think even after a pullback, we still very much going to continue bearish this, right? Because I expect Aussie strength across the board, except against daddy dollar, okay? So that's just how we play interest rates, guys, and why it is important. And that's why it's important to keep your eyes on that one on Tuesday, okay? So to go into Wednesday, guys, we do have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision as well that's getting released. Now, Canada, guys, has been extremely, extremely strong as well, just not as strong against the dollar, right? Again, the dollar right now, guys, right, is the #1 currency, is the strongest currency at least, right? It's the one that's in the most demand right now. But the Canadian dollar is also not too far away, right? The Canadian dollar, guys, is also a currency that is offering a high rate of return, right? That is super attractive for foreign investors, right? So yeah, right now they're at 2.5%. They're expected to raise it 0.75%, right? All the way up to 3.25. So we could experience some short-term or even some long-term Canadian dollar strength, right? And let's go ahead and take a look at USD CAD and figure out what this market is doing with that data, right? So if we look at USD CAD, remember I told you guys that the CAD has been also not as strong as the dollar, but it still has been pretty strong, right? And we can see that because, I mean, while UJ was absolutely getting destroyed against the dollar, right? the CAD itself, it was still going higher, but very, very slow, very, very choppy. We just been inside this little trend line, inside of this range, guys. I mean, literally since the end of last year, right? Now, remember what I said. Interest rates going up to 3.25%, I believe is what it said it was going to go up to. That is going to possibly cause a lot of strength for the Canadian dollar. And if that happens, then we should see weakness for USD CAD. So that is just something, guys, that we can keep our eyes on and possibly experience as well, right? But again, it's all about the interest rate and understanding how to play it. This interest rate is higher than pretty much all the other ones. So the CAD is probably going to be strong against all the other currencies. It's just not going to overtake the US dollar. Okay. So that's just a way to look at that for sure. Let's go ahead and continue going, guys. I'm really just focusing on the main ones that are going to be very important. We also have, guys, on Thursday, the ECB interest rate decision that's going to come out, right? They're expecting to raise 50 basis points as well, right? So again, across the board, guys, we have 3 central banks, major central banks, guys, that are all releasing their interest rate decision this week. So we need to just be aware and prepared to actually go ahead and take advantage of that, right? So that's just something to keep your eyes on, guys. Now, we do have Jerome Powell that's going to be testifying on Thursday as well around 9 a.m. Anytime Jerome Powell opens his mouth, you definitely want to be mindful of that because he gives us clues as to what they're planning on doing moving forward, which can give us an insight as to what we should do as well. We also have President Lagarde that's going to be speaking for the ECB at 10:15, same concept. It will probably be a market mover, so just be mindful of that, guys. But this is our calendar for the week. Again, 3 major central banks, all of them are having interest rate decisions. All of them are expected to raise rates at least 0.5%, with one of them expected to raise at 0.75%. So we should see increased volatility or increased momentum for those specific assets. Now, to try to trade the cross pairs, right? Like if you have one central bank that is raising rates and you look at it compared to another one that's going to raise rates, which one is going to give you the higher rate of return, right? Because whichever one is going to give you the higher rate of return, that is usually the one that's probably going to end up dominating a little bit more, right? So that's just the way we look at it, guys. That's how we want to approach the market going into this week. So, let's see what we got over here now in the actual charts, right? Now, I'm only going to take a look at maybe 4 or 5 pairs, guys, that I'm actually interested in, because I don't want to just prolong this. But, yeah, they are looking really, really good setups, though. Starting with the dollar index, right? So, overall, guys, we have just been so dominant, so bullish, it's not even funny, right? And we're still very much bullish, right? So, I think we still have more upside here, guys, for the dollar index. We actually did close out the week, guys, pretty strong, pretty bullish, right? With a nice 4-hour bullish engulfing. So if we can see price come back down, then I think we do have a good chance, guys, for this thing to actually go ahead and run up back on up to the upside for the dollar, right? But I'm expecting new highs, guys, going into this week for the dollar, right? But let's go ahead and take a look at actual pairs that we can actually trade, right? Starting with the euro. This is actually a setup, guys, that I gave to you guys literally last week on my live free sessions on YouTube, right? My Asian session streams. If you are not watching those, make sure to go catch those, right? But we actually ended up taking the sell right from here. So this is a good position, still in this position, guys. We're going to be holding this all the way back down to the lows. And I think there's a good chance for us to continue going lower, right? I would really like to see this low, right? These lows right here eventually get taken out. So I'm still very much bearish Euro USD. So I want to look for more sells. Now, how can we position ourselves, though, right? Does that mean we just want to jump into a sell right here? Hell no, right? We have to wait for the market to pull back up to then give us an opportunity to go ahead and sell, right? Guys, make sure that if you guys are looking to sell, make sure you're selling at the high of a move, right? If I wanted to sell, I don't want to sell here. I want to sell as close as possible to the last previous high, all right? Because that's going to give me a better risk reward, and it's just going to help my confidence overall, right? Because now I won't have to deal with as much drawdown if there is any drawdown, right? So, yeah, I need to see a pullback and then a continuation. Now, where will we pull back to? Right, well, I have a few things highlighted, guys, but let me go ahead and just make this, let me fill the background on this one real quick, right? Because this is the reason, guys, why I'm really looking for this area to go short from, right? If we look at this area, we use history. History has shown, guys, that this is clearly an area where price loves to react from. So if we are able to see price come back up there, guess what? We can expect, right, a possible continuation lower from this level. So anywhere around this 1.001 level, guys, is a very, very attractive level to go ahead and continue to short the euro from, right? So the 1.001, 1.002, look for more shorts on euro USD. Okay, that's what I'm doing at least. All right, let's go take a look at AUD USD, right? Now, again, same concept, guys, right? If I'm extremely bullish the dollar, then anything that ends in USD is going to be bearish, right? So same thing here. I want to see, guys, the market rebound, especially off the interest rate decision, rebound here, and then go ahead and give us an opportunity to go short. Now, for whatever reason, right, if the market says, nope, hey, well, I like that little cute level you got there, but what if we actually run this level, right? So if they actually ended up doing something like this and running it, I'm not falling for it, right? I still very much believe that we're going to go ahead and continue going back bearish, right? So for whatever reason, again, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I don't know, right? I'm not psychic. All right, I think the market can come here and just realistically turn around because that's really where, the demand for the Aussie started to weaken. But if we end up running these highs to possibly just to capture liquidity, whatever, it is what it is. Let it go. The moment we start to see the market come back, that is our time to now go ahead and jump in. So I'm still selling this no matter what happens. I'm looking for the sell around the 0.683. I'll take it. If I get stopped out, it is what it is. I'll just be patient and then wait for the market to go ahead and show some weakness again, and I'm in there. Right, but yeah, it looks good though. I really do like the short opportunity for AUD USD as well. Right, USD JPY, guys, definitely probably one of my favorites. I'm very bullish, UJ. We've been bullish for a while now, and I think that there's a good chance for price to realistically, go bullish, guys, off this 139,500 level. Right, if we're able to see price come back down to here where we had this clear demand for the dollar that picked up with this strong bullish candle right here. Right, if we're able to see price come back into here, then yeah, there's a good chance for us to go ahead and continue with this bullishness to the upside as well, guys. So again, I'm very bullish you know, USD JPY from a fundamental standpoint, from a technical standpoint, and from a sentimental standpoint. So across the board, I'm still very much bullish. It just we need to wait for our technicals to fully line up, right? We need to come back down to here to then go ahead and continue. All right, GJ, right? So GJ is an interesting one, guys. Super annoying pair. I'm not even gonna lie. It has been probably one of the most annoying pairs to be trading lately. And it's because it hasn't been doing nothing, right? We have literally been going sideways, guys, for this entire past month. Like literally a full month. We have not done a damn thing for GJ. Super hard to trade, super choppy conditions, right? When we're experiencing choppy conditions like this, guys, your best bet is scalp. Right, get in, catch a nice quick move back up to a level of structure and get out. Right, that's pretty much what I did. Right, I was able to catch this entry down here. Right now, rode this entire thing out, and we got out right back at these highs. Right now, yeah, I'm still expecting long-term bullishness for GJ. I'm still very much bullish GJ. That has not changed. Right, it's just the choppiness has been there. Right, and when you're aware of these type of market conditions, guys, you have to be aware and be able to adjust as well to your trading style. Now, again, with that said, I'm still very much bullish. So I think there is a good chance, guys, for price to realistically start to turn around from these areas that we're actually currently at, right? So like right where we're at right now is a very interesting level, guys, where, yeah, price can easily respect this level and continue to go higher. All right, now I'm not in nothing right now for GJ, but I will be looking for the opportunity to go ahead and go long. Right, maybe if for whatever reason we're able to spike back down to these lows, then I'll like that, maybe like that, something like that would be pretty cool. Or maybe, because we are showing this little choppiness right here, if we see a spike below this low right here, maybe capture liquidity in a rebound, then I would love something like that for sure. All right, but overall, I'm going to be patient with GJ, guys. Super annoying pair to be trading, I'll be honest with y'all. But yeah, I still do like the upside, right? So I'm going to be patient and see if the market can give me an opportunity to go ahead and get long. Let's take a look at gold. Right now, gold is very interesting, guys, right? Overall, right? One thing that I noticed about gold is that gold actually loves to move and or react based off interest rates, right? They have like a negative correlation, right? So whenever interest rates are going higher, gold typically goes lower, right? Gold is not as attractive with higher rates, which is kind of crazy because I always consider gold as a safe haven, right? Where higher rates go into gold, right? But lately, it has not been doing that, right? It actually has been going the opposite way. So I'm still with that. As long as we're expected to continue raising rates, I'm going to expect to continue to sell gold, right? So where can I look for my next sell from? Where I really am interested in, guys, around here, around the 1725 level. If we can see price come up to the 1725 level, guys, and I really think that there is a good chance, or I like 1727, actually, right? If we can see price come up to 1727, then I do like the opportunity for this thing to actually go ahead and go short, right? So a little bit of patience to start the week. If you're experienced, do your thing. You might be able to catch and move up. But overall, I'm just going to be patient, see if price can get up to that sell zone. And then from there, I'll be looking for more continuations lower, guys. Right? Right now, it's the land of continuations, by the way. Right? Because if the sentiment overall has not changed, then your overall bias does not change neither, right? Your overall trend needs to stay the same. As long as the sentiment does not change, the trend stays the same, okay? So that's why it's just a lot of continuations happening across the board, right? Including NAS, right? We have been bearish, been seeing a lot of economic weakness. Sentiment has not changed, right? We're still very much bearish, still a lot of chaos, uncertainty, and doubt. So I'm going to continue bearishness. As long as sentiment does not change, we stay with the trend, right? But for these NAS guys, we ended up closing the week pretty strong. I need to see a pullback, though. I want to see price come back up to this 12,300, right? 12,300 level. Pretty juicy level, guys, to actually go ahead and look for some shorts on and just continue. Again, it is the time for continuations, right? Euro USD, continuation lower. So we're looking for AUD USD, right? Continuation lower. Overall, we're very much bearish. We've been bearish on a lot of these pairs, right? Continuation lower. USD JPY, right? Continuation higher. GJ is the only one that's low. Right? Because it's just been going so sideways and so choppy. I'm bullish on this one, though. Right? Gold, continuation lower. NAS, continuation lower, right? So overall, very risk-off sentiment environment, guys. We're trading that. We're going to play that. We're going to see ultimately what does come for that, right? But that is pretty much my outlook for this week. It's going to be an absolute phenomenal week, guys. Banger of a week. If you guys are interested in learning exactly how to do this, exactly how I trade, exactly how I figure out sentiment, then go ahead and click the link in the description down below, guys. I do have an entire 5-day bootcamp series that literally is going to break down all the most important things that you need to know when it comes to trading, right? So if you want that, it's in the description. Make sure to get it. Get that information. Once you do get it, make sure to message me as well on Instagram so I can get you added into a private bootcamp community where we're literally going. I mean, we're dropping so many gems in there. It's insane, right? So that's one thing. Another thing, guys, for those guys that do not have a trading journal just yet, right, make sure to get yourself a copy of a trading journal, family. I just launched my very own trading journal. It is going to be in the description as well. It is a physical copy that you guys can get access to. It will be mailed to you within a week or two so that you guys can literally start to document your trades, right? Whatever you document, whatever you track will grow, right? So if you want to get better with trading, you have to start to document your process first, guys. But besides that, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much for rocking with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's get it.